Welcome back to the Offense channel. We've got a couple of previews coming up. We've got a mad weekend of boxing and we have 3 fights we're going to touch on, maybe a 4th light touch with the Aussie fighter fighting over in England, but we'll touch on that later. Now, let's get to it. We have first up, we have Gervonta Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, the heavy-handed hitter from Baltimore versus El Terremoto, Leo Santa Cruz. Now, we have Gervonta. He's actually defending his regular lightweight title, and Leo Santa Cruz, he's defending his super featherweight title. So it is going to be a unification of sorts. I actually covered this fight a couple of weeks ago, and I thought Gervonta Davis was going to win definitively, and the reason being is because Gervonta Davis is an underestimated counterpuncher. He looks to counter first and foremost. He does spring into the offense, and he springs forward when he punches. But I thought back then that with Leo Santa Cruz, a come-forward fighter, is going to have so many counter-punching opportunities for Gervonta Davis. Now, I have been watching a few of the Showtime boxing docu-series. It's called Blood, Sweat and Tears, and it does give you a sneak peek into the game plan that Leo Santa Cruz and his team might have. So he looks like he's punching pads and he's actually moving out of range when he's punching on the mitts. Now, he's obviously also stated that he's going to use that game plan. He's going to try and get in and out. And because of that, I am starting to actually favor Leo Santa Cruz. Like, his punch output is incredible. His length, he's only 5'7.5". Almost, he's just a bit shorter than me. But he's an inch and a half taller than than Gervonta Davis at 5'6". Now, he looks way taller. Gervonta Davis, he's got a massive head, and his body looks very small compared to his head. Leo Santa Cruz, he looks way taller for some reason in every single video I see of him. Every time he fights, he looks taller than his opponent. So that being said, I actually even it up a bit more. I do think that Leo Santa Cruz is going to come in. He's going to come and maybe almost a game plan like Pacquiao versus De La Hoya. He's going to get in, he's going to get out, and he's going to use his length. He's not going to try and skirt, or he's not going to flirt with danger that Gervonta Davis brings in both hands. Gervonta is really going to have to try and move forward instead of waiting for that counter punch. That being said, it's a tough one. I do like Leo Santa Cruz in this one. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to actually flip my previous prediction of Gervonta Davis stopping Leo Santa Cruz convincingly. I actually think Leo Santa Cruz might win on the judges' scorecards. He's going to be able to get in and out. He's going to use a high output. Gervonta Davis has never been one to throw a lot of shots, and if you're going to put both resumes against each other, Leo Santa Cruz does have the better resume. He's fought a lot more Mexican fighters, and Mexican fighters are class. That's why boxing is so deep, because the Latino Mexicans, they have so many fighters that come out from Mexico. Leo Santa Cruz, obviously, he has that Mexican background fighting, and also Abner Mares, he fought Frampton. They're elite fighters. You could say they're very elite, very experienced fighters. And also the fact that Gervonta Davis did struggle with Gamboa, who had a broken boot that was, he was aged, washed up. That being said, I think Leo Santa Cruz. I'm going to flip my previous prediction. I think Leo Santa Cruz takes it on work ethic, on getting out of the danger, and just being a high volume puncher. So there we go. Bit of a surprise. I also want to touch quickly on Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones, just quickly, that's coming up shortly in a couple of weeks. They're going through the rounds of interviews as well. I previously predicted Roy Jones to be a straighter puncher and get to the target quicker. Therefore being, and also the fact that he's more active and he's been in the ring 2 years ago compared to Mike Tyson's 10 years ago. He was last since he's last fought. However, I did pick Roy Jones again. I'm flipping my prediction there, and I'm allowed to because the fight hasn't started yet. But just watching the pads, yes, Roy Jones is sharper, faster, more direct to the target. But he's dropping his hands after every combination. Now, I know it is for the camera. I know it's for training. It's for pad work and bag work. He hasn't shown any sparring footage, but he's dropping his hands at the end of his combinations, and he's not moving his feet. Now, Mike Tyson, I went back and watched his last exhibition fight, and he's still got fantastic feet. One thing he is showing in his training is that he is moving. He's using his feet to get in and pivot. Roy Jones isn't doing any of that. And yes, you might have the quickest hands, but if your upper body is still there to be hit, you're going to be hit. You need to be using your feet. Roy Jones, two things he's doing fundamentally wrong is he's not moving his feet after he finishes the counter punching. And he's also dropping his hands after his combinations. Now that is dangerous when going into any type of fight, where it be an exhibition or a full-on fight with Mike Tyson. So I'm picking Tyson. If it's an exhibition, it could be a draw. But if Tyson comes to fight and set up a second actual proper fight with Roy Jones, I think he's going to take it with a KO. So moving on to Inoue and Jason Moloney. Now, I thought he had a title, but in fact he doesn't. It was his brother, Andrew Moloney, that lost it to Franco. So Jason Moloney has the opportunity here, the Australian from Mitcham, from Melbourne, where I'm currently at. He has the opportunity to take the titles, both titles from Inoue. So I think he's got the opportunity to take the bantamweight titles, the IBA and the WBA and IBF world bantamweight titles that Inoue is holding right now. So that's a great opportunity. The talk is all coming from Jason Moloney saying he's going to shock the world. He's going to come in. No one's ever seen what Jason Moloney is going to bring. I don't think that, to be honest with you, I don't think we're not going to be able to see enough of Jason Moloney. I think it's going to be a quick fight. Jason Moloney is very classical, whereas Inoue, he is very fast twitch. He's heavy-handed. You can tell he does micro movements better. When I say micro movements, he moves his hands and his feet, and he's just overall his repetitions more fluid, faster. You can tell he's just more in tune with his body. And he's fast twitch, and he's had probably better sparring, better competition, better camps. Overall, he's just gonna go out there and dominate. Yes, the broken orbital bone that he suffered, that's the monster Inoue against Donaire, is a factor. But it's been almost a year since that's happened, and he's had plenty of time with the pandemic to heal up. I actually went back and watched Casimero versus Mike Duca, and also previous to that, I watched Casimero versus Charlie Edwards. Now, the Casimero that fought Charlie Edwards is nowhere near what... the Casimero that fought Duke Mike is a bit more sloppy compared to the Casimero that fought Charlie Edwards. So I actually think, and I'm Filipino, and I love Casimero as a fighter, but I actually think that, in this time in history, I think Inoue actually beats Casimero. So if that being said, what's he going to do to Jason Moloney? I think he's going to take him apart. I think it's going to set up for an incredible showdown between Casimero versus Inoue, and and that's all she wrote. So moving forward, we have Derek Chisora versus Usyk. Now this is Usyk's second fight, I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong. At heavyweight, and this is another test for the great southpaw Usyk. Now his stable man, his stable mate Lomachenko just lost convincingly over the past couple of weeks. I was pretty salty with that. I thought Lomachenko was going to win quite easily. I even, told a lot of my friends that he was going to win, and they all obviously came back and they were like, haha, I thought you were going to win. I thought Lomachenko, you said there was no way he was going to lose. He lost. But, this is another one of those tests, albeit Derek Chisora isn't as youthful and as fast and heavy-handed as, Lomachenko if you're going to go pound for pound. I think Usyk, he's going to be able to take this one out with his footwork. He's going to be able to get in, out, frustrate, pepper the bigger man, and maybe even stop him to the body. I just think Usyk's too class. And this isn't for any definitive titles. There's no defending of any titles here. No one's going to win anything. It's just another step up for Usyk to prove that he can actually be Anthony Joshua's mandatory. And if he impresses, a lot of people think that Anthony Joshua is going to drop his titles. Now, I don't see that, because that title that Joshua holds is going to be another bargaining chip to make the Tyson Fury fight even bigger. So I think with Usyk beating Chisora easily and convincingly, I'm going to say a stoppage, because I think that the Chisora camp is either going to throw it in, or he's going to get racked to the body. Usyk's camp's going to put a lot of pressure on Chisora in the later rounds, and maybe Chisora either stops the fight in the corner, maybe 10th round, or the ref stops it because Chisora isn't answering after a barrage to the body, and then he's on the ropes and he just stops it. So I think that's going to be an easier fight. Another fight coming up this weekend I want to touch on is the George Kambosos Jr. versus Lee Selby over in England. It's for a title eliminator. I think it's for 130 or 135 pound. Mate, that weight class is stacked. 130 with 135, you got Gervonta Davis, you got Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, obviously, you got Lomachenko, you got Kambosos Jr., you got Devin Haney. Oh my God, it is the darling division at the moment. You could say, it's even way more stacked than the welterweight. There are bigger names, obviously, at the welterweight division, but there's so many, the guys that are in that division right now are the future of boxing going forward, the lightweight future of boxing. George Kambosos Jr., he's been going through the rounds saying that his sparring with Pacquiao is going to help him immensely. Lee Selby, you can tell he's borrowed a lot of his in and out from Pacquiao. It's going to be interesting to see over in England with a pandemic type atmosphere, no people there. Kambosos thinks that that's going to play into his favour, because Lee Selby's not going to have his friends and family and the massive, crazy English crowd booing at him. It's going to be a tough one. Kambosos is going to need to cut off the ring. Lee Selby, he's fought better opposition. He's fought on a bigger stage. I kind of see Lee Selby taking this one out by points. Maybe it's going to be home cooking, but from what I've seen of him, he does have light feet. He has the ability to get in and out, and he's also faced better opposition. I think Kambosos is quite heavy on his feet. Yes, he might have sparred Pacquiao, but Pacquiao does go light on his opponents. I would like to see the Aussie win, but I just think Lee Selby, he's either going to get a favorable decision, or he's going to prove that he's got boxing ability to get in and out of danger from the faster, heavier hands of George Kambosos Jr. So I've got Lee Selby winning. So to wrap it up, in summary, we have Leo Santa Cruz winning by decision. We have Inoue destructively beating Jason Moloney. And we also have Usyk winning by a TKO with the heavy-handed Derek Chisora. We also have my flipping of Tyson over Roy Jones, and also Kambosos narrowly losing a decision against Lee Selby. So I don't have any Aussies winning this weekend, unfortunately. Hopefully I'm incorrect, because boxing, apart from Tim Tszyu, it's going to reinvigorate the Australian boxing scene. So that's going to bring huge fights over here. Kambosos and obviously the Moloney brothers coming from Victoria, they have stated that they'd love to fight a massive fight over in Marvel Stadium. Even George Kambosos, who is from Sydney, has stated that Marvel is his choice to fight at. So that'd be great. So that wraps up a fairly long-winded video. I hope everyone can come back and check and see if I have been incorrect or wrong or right, and make me eat my crow. So I'll catch you on the next video. Peace, bye.